Welcome everyone here to the Smash Sport Show right here on Smash FM here on a Tuesday. Of course, let's head up to our friends over in the US, and of course, we're heading to Stockton, California, in particular. Of course, it's been with the Pacific women's tennis team. Of course, it is great to have pretty much our favorite tennis player that we've had on the show. Of course, she is a junior there at Pacific, and of course, her name's Indy McLeod. She joins right now. Thanks, Indy, for joining us.
Hi, yes, thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
No worries. Well, we had you on the show actually earlier this year. So tell us a bit about. I think you've had three, four tournaments already. This past year, of course, including the one that just finished at CSUN about a couple of weeks ago. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, actually, CSUN was the only tournament I played because in June I got shoulder surgery, so I wasn't able to play the first two tournaments. So I've been out for basically the whole semester. And then CSUN was my first tournament back, and I was able to win two out of my three matches, which I'm really happy with because it's nice to be able to feel a bit normal back on the court after being out for so long. Um, I mean, the team did great for the first two tournaments, but I wasn't there, so I wasn't able to watch, sadly. But seeing their results, they did pretty good. But at the CSUN tournament, it was a team format where as a team, we all played different schools, and we did pretty well. We beat some good teams, and individually, we all had really good results. So, and for me personally, I'm glad that I was able to finish off the semester with one tournament at least.
You mentioned that you went into surgery. So you missed the first two, which was the Cal Berkeley Invitational and obviously the ITA Regionals as well. For you, how were you sad, disappointed, frustrated that you couldn't compete in those two early ones?
Yeah, I was pretty upset because the second tournament was regionals and everyone wants to play regionals, like it's such a big tournament. And the first tournament is like the first tournament of the year of the semester, so you want to go out and play for the first time in the semester. So I was pretty upset, but I just knew that after surgery, it's a waiting game and it's a long process of recovery, so I didn't want to rush anything.
And my second question I'm going to ask, which is the follow on, how good was to be back on the court again for that CSUN Invitational about 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, it felt great. I like since that tournament, I've only been properly practicing for a week or 2 weeks at most, compared to like being out for almost 3 months without touching a tennis racket. So having 2 weeks of practice straight into a tournament, it was at the start, I was kind of like, I have no expectations, like just go out and see where you are. But being able to get some solid wins during that tournament, I was really happy with myself. And even though it was tough not being able to play, I know it was worth it because who knows, if I played earlier, then I might not have been ready and something bad could have happened with my shoulder. So it all worked out well in the end.
What's next for you now? I'm sure obviously we're getting close to the end of the year, so I'm assuming you got nothing in regards to tennis between now and the end of the year.
We don't have any mandatory practice because of the NCAA rules. You're not allowed to have mandatory practice with coaches, but we'll have our own practices within the team. That's the main practice we'll have. For the rest of the semester, tournament wise, nothing here in America. But when I go back to Australia, maybe I'll play some. But most of the time, I just like to spend time with family. Like I don't really stress too much about playing matches, but we'll see how I feel.
Obviously, you mentioned before that obviously you got no tournaments or no games coming up for yourself between now and the end of the year. So what's next for you in 2026? I'm assuming you're returning back for your senior year, or is that your junior year coming up?
Next semester, I'll still be a junior. That's my last semester being a junior, and that's when conference starts. And I hope that I mean, at this rate, I should be ready to play conference. If you asked me that like 2 months ago, I'd be like, there's no way I'll be ready. But I think if I just keep practicing, keep all my rehab and recovery as good as it should be, then I should be ready to be able to play back at my best, hopefully.
How supportive your teammates been throughout not just this really tough year for you, obviously coming back from injury, but obviously your coach is there at Pacific.
They were actually really supportive. So when I got my surgery, it was in June in America, actually, and I was working a tennis camp at on campus, and there were some teammates who were there who were like, like if you need to stay with me, stay with me. If you need food, I'll get you food. And lots of texts and checkups, which was nice. And then coming back at the start of this semester, they knew that I won't be able to practice with them or play matches with them, but it's still a team at the end of the day. So it was nice to be able to still go to practice with them, even if I'm just sitting on the side or doing my own thing on the side. It was still like a blend. It wasn't, I was just isolated. So it felt still very normal, except for the fact that I wasn't hitting with them. I was just still part of the environment.
Well, I don't normally ask this question to any of the college players that I've had on the show, but I'm going to get you to, you know, describe your teammates that you have within the tennis squad. You can either do it as a whole group or individually.
Okay. Well, I'd say as a whole, we're all very when it comes to tennis, we're all very hardworking. That's just a generic one. Like we have to be on a college team. But then when it comes more personality, we're all very funny in our own ways. Like for example, Cindy is the type of person who is funny but doesn't realize it. Like, when someone just speaks, it's just funny. That's Cindy. But then Millie, she's the type of person who can crack a good joke at the most random times. So we all have different ways of being funny or different ways of being silly, but it's great. Like our personalities all mesh really well.
Actually, having a look at your team, it's mainly local, obviously mainly in California, but obviously you're not the only overseas player that's currently over there. Obviously, you've got um, Melina and also Pauline, who are from Europe. How's that connection between you and the two Europeans?
It's good. They both actually room with me. So in my apartment of four people, it's Millie from Russia, Pauline from Belgium, and then Cindy from LA. And it's nice like hearing just their stories of their life in Europe because it is so, so different to Australia and obviously America as well. But it's nice because having other internationals, it helps us like, there's some things that we have to do, like for example, pay taxes or ensure that like we have things ready to go to the airport. You have to have certain documents signed. Like it's nice to make sure that everyone's up to date with that. And having other internationals, it makes me feel less not alone because I don't feel alone, but it's nice having people from outside with me as well.
Which is a great segue to my next question, because I know now this is your third year in college system. I'm assuming now you've got over the homesickness now, and especially considering that you've got some internationals with you.
Yeah, I'm definitely over the homesickness, I feel. I mean, obviously there are times where I miss my family. Like for example, Thanksgiving was just last week and not being around my family where everyone else is, I'm kind of like, oh, it'd be nice to be with my family right now. But homesickness as a whole, I don't really feel it anymore. I actually feel kind of sad that my time's almost up in America. Like I feel like I'd be homesick when I go back to Australia. I'd be missing America.
So I know you got two more proper years left over there. So have you thought about what you want to do after college?
Um, Kind of. It's always mixed. Like before, at the start, I kind of wanted to keep playing tennis and see where I end up with that. But now that I'm really into my degree and it's starting to feel more real, like having to look for internships and stuff like that, I'm kind of set on wanting to find a job. But then I just change my mind sometimes. I'm like, oh no, actually, I want to keep playing tennis. Actually, no, I want to find a job. Actually, no, I want to maybe look for like a position at another school where I can continue studying, but also be like a assistant coach or something like that. So I don't know. I haven't really made a set decision, but there are options.
How's supposed parents back home? Considering obviously they don't get to see you much. Now you're over the other side of the world. How amazing they've been.
Yeah, they've been the most supportive people in my life ever. Like obviously it's hard having one of your children go away, but they know that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity and experience that not everyone can say that they've done. So they know, and they know that like this would make me into a better person. For example, I'm way more independent than I was 3 years ago. I feel like I'm more confident in myself 3 years ago because you have to stand up for yourself more. I don't have my mum to rely on. I know how to simple things like opening up a bank account. I know how to do that myself. I know how to I do all my laundry, all my cleaning by myself. Like they obviously ideally would wish that I could be in Australia with them, but they know that something like this doesn't come around often. And
Mm.
if you have an opportunity like this, it'd be stupid not to do it, in my opinion.
Actually, that's probably the best news I've ever had from anyone, especially over there in college. So I'm glad you actually mentioned about that. You mentioned before it's a once in a lifetime experience, especially going over the States and especially not just um, playing the sport I'm sure that you love still, which is tennis, but obviously getting the degree. Um, when did you make that decision to take the leap of faith and going over to the US to go over college, and especially specifically going to Pacific
Mhm.
as your college of choice, which I know I didn't ask that last time.
Yeah, I think my high school, there was a lot of girls who went to college mainly for tennis, but also like water polo and athletics and stuff like that. So it's always been an option, the top option for me. I did think about going to university in Australia, but I knew that I still wanted to play tennis, and obviously America and college is the best option for that. So it wasn't like a in the moment decision, or it wasn't a hard decision. I think I always knew that I was going to do this and wanted to do this from maybe around year 10, actually, so for a while. And then when it actually rolled around to look for colleges, Pacific came up. I actually didn't know about the school at all, but one of my coaches back at home knew the coach at Pacific, and just that connection, I got in touch with the coach, and that's how it started. I kind of put all my faith and trust into this school because firstly it was in California, and that was, an ideal location for me. It was one flight. Like I feel obviously it's a long flight to California, but I could not do like a stopover somewhere and then go somewhere else in America. Like one
Yeah.
flight's enough for me. Um, and the tennis program was great here, and what I wanted to study was available here as well. So I guess in that sense, I took a leap of faith and was like, okay, I wanted to go to Pacific. I didn't really look at other schools, and I'm really glad I chose a school.
Do you have any short or long term goals in the sport for yourself?
Short-term goals would still like within college. I mean, very short-term goals would be to go back and playing how I used to play. And then also as a team, do the best we can within our conference. So hopefully we can make the conference tournament. But then long-term goals, ideally, I would love to keep playing for as long as I can, like straight after college. Like how I said, I don't know if I want to get a job straight away or continue to play like a circuit or something around maybe Australia or America. But I think tennis will always be a goal of mine to keep playing. That's the main thing. Like if it's playing recreationally, if it's playing professionally, I think I just want to keep playing because it's so good for you, first of all. It's so fun. And I've met all these new people. Like imagine all the other new people I can meet.
So, what does the sport of tennis mean to you now?
I just put it back simply as to why I started, which was because it's fun. Like I always have to remember that, especially during a match when when it's a stressful match, or when you're overwhelmed with all the practicing, or when you're just tired and you just don't want to do it anymore. You just have to remember, tennis is supposed to be fun. That's why I started all these years ago. Like you have to just think really simply during those tough times because that's what helps me keep going.
We'll finish with a couple of light-hearted questions about your teammates there at Pacific. And see, it kind of changes from the one that you answered early in the year, which is who's the comedian, the best singer, and the best dance on the team?
Okay, comedian. Like I said before, probably Cindy. She's the type of person who's really funny without meaning or realizing. Best singer. Well, Millie does singing, so I would say her. Like she actually sings.
Ah,
I would say her. And then would you say the best dancer?
yes.
I'd like to say all of us because of all the TikToks we make. I would say, yeah, if that counts as dancing.
Yeah, it does. Yep. I wasn't going to ask this as a follow up, but I'm going to ask it now. So, what was the best TikTok dance that the team do?
Oh, there are too many. Um, I don't know. I don't know the name specifically, but anything that's trending at the moment, we just somehow already know it. We probably spend too much time on that app.
Yep. So, who actually thinks about that and actually does it? Like, is there any specific person?
I could be one of those people. Probably,
Oh,
probably me. I kind of force my teammates to do it with me as well. I think all of us, yeah, like somehow we just, at the end of practice, we just start making TikToks sometimes, or just randomly throughout the day. It's a bad habit, but it's fun.
I've noticed that you haven't lost your Australian accent, which every time I've had a US Aussie player on the show, they've always seemed to lose their Aussie accent. So have you convinced any of your teammates to come with you to Australia? And how's the Aussie accent going around your teammates?
I mean, I have convinced them in a way that's like, I'm like, guys, come to Australia, and they automatically say yes, obviously, I would love to. But actually planning for that to happen is one of the most tough like
Mhm.
processes ever, especially like for the internationals and like visas and stuff like that. It's so we don't even think about it. It's just the idea of them coming, which is what we talk about. The Aussie accent, I mean, actually recently my teammates have been saying that I haven't lost it, but I thought I
Yes.
have.
No, you
I mean,
definitely have.
I'm glad I haven't because I prefer an Australian accent over an American any day. Because I guess I'm just around them all the time. Like now I'm used to it, but I don't know. I just like how I sound now. So I don't really want to sound American.
Yeah.
But yeah, no one said I've lost it. I thought I did, but now that I'm talking to you with an Australian accent, I kind of hear it coming again.
Yeah. No, I can definitely say you definitely haven't lost. Is there anyone on the team that had an embarrassing moment at practice or during one of the tournaments?
Actually, it's like embarrassing, but in a way it's just annoying. In one of the matches, um, when someone wins a point, they can yell,
Yes.
"Come on," or "Let's go."
Yeah.
Well, she yelled it way too early. Like the ball barely like already bounced and she yelled it way too early. Like technically she won the point, but everyone was like, there's no way. Like you yelled it way too early, so she lost the point. Like the other, I don't know how, I can't even remember how to explain it. The opponent hit the ball.
Yeah.
Oh no, maybe my teammate hit the ball thinking it was a winner, but then the opponent, but then she yelled, come on, before the opponent could hit it back. Something like that. I don't know. And then it was like a whole thing where she yelled, come on, way too early. And she was like, why did I do that?
We'll finish with these last two. Though, do you have a pre-games or pre-tournament superstition, ritual, or routine?
I would say a really good warm up to get my mind and body locked in. And I'm typically, well, actually, every time there's a tournament, I'm like, I can't even touch my phone. I just don't want anything to do with it. Like, I'll see it to check the time. That's it.
What will be your advice to people that should get involved in tennis back here in Australia, considering we're actually getting close to the Aussie Open down here?
I would say advice, like I said before, that remember that tennis is supposed to be fun and why you started all those years ago. Like, obviously, it will be like some of your toughest moments will be during a tennis match, for example, but you just have to remember the fundamentals of why you started. That's what I always think about. And remember the little kid that was holding a racket when you were what, like 7 years old? Like what would they say, And I believe that if I just think about that, it will make your mind more at ease rather than always stressed. And that tennis can provide experiences and opportunities that not many people can say that they do. Like all the people you're going to meet from around the world, or for example, going to college, like use tennis as a way to experience different things.
Hmm. Well, Indy, it's been an absolute honor to have you back on the show again. Definitely our favorite tennis player, and because you're the only tennis player we've ever had on the show. So you're
Mhm.
definitely our favorite. It's been an absolute honor, and especially um, giving some time up to do this on your busy schedule, and best of luck, and it's great to see you back on the court again. And hopefully all goes well. You're heading towards
Thank
the
you.
conference player next year in 2026.
Thank you.
No worries. And of course, if you want to follow the amazing Pacific women's tennis team in particular for next year in 2026, of course, you just head to the Pacific Tigers athletics website for more details. There's more on the Smash Sports Show right after this. Don't go away here on the 15th year celebration.
Hi, this is Indiya McLeod from Pacific Women's Tennis, and you're listening to Smash FM.